2 decades had passed since the creation of both species. The war had begun.
In the first 2 movies, we were told vampires had been around for at least 14 centuries, and vampires have been fighting werewolves for at least 8 centuries, so I'm pretty sure the math is wrong somewhere. Also, every one of these movies starts with narration, but it's more the screenwriters talking to each other and saying, do I have that right? Also, understand this. I've watched all the Underworld movies, but I already kind of forgot what they were fighting about. Something about Otto von Bismarck and land rights to Alsace-Lorraine? Pretty sure that was mentioned once or twice. That's a newborn inside a werewolf cage right there. In an effort not to show this baby's weirdly massive penis, I'll explain that the narrator says Victor wanted to kill this kid but didn't, because all the people he has second thoughts about figure into the plot of these movies later. Victor closes the door on a human baby and his dead mother, I guess assuming the baby will figure out this living business by himself.
Over the years, this child grew. He possessed a strength and focus that the ones before him did not.
Including all the people who constructed this fight scene full of cuts and faceless assholes.
Victor would use Lucian's infectious blood to his benefit.
Are you still talking? Do we need you anymore? This transformation requires about 245 more cuts than John Landis used in An American Werewolf in London. Also, I'm not sure how they figured Lucian's bite would create more Lycans just like it, or that it might require a little bit more of a special process than a simple bite, but I guess those medieval assholes knew what they were doing back then. I don't know who this is, or why I should care. All I know is, if you see a knight and you're not sure who it is because of the helmet, it's probably because that person is a woman. And man, when you find that out, won't you be sexist? Looks like Bruce Almighty's been working his magic tonight. I get the sense that the entire Twilight series was created because of Underworld. I think Stephanie Meyer watched the movie in 2003 and said, I can do something just as shitty as that and put a love story in it. And she was done with the whole series by the time the credits were over. Discount Kate Beckinsale. Also, let's film a chapter in a barely successful franchise without the main character or the actress and see how that goes. Also, if this is Sonya, she's a lot less blonde than she was in those horrible flashbacks in the first movie. And why does she seem way more badass in this movie than the first one, which seemed to portray her simply as a damsel in distress?
You are a credit to your race.
That's compliment racist. Jesus Christ, you assholes candle much? You got candles in places you don't even need candles. Also, how did the overabundance of candles in this shot lead to lighting like this? And how do they cast this ethereal blue look throughout the room?
You will learn the dance of politics to be ruthless and cunning.
Movie inspires the plot of Brave, but they changed the vampires and werewolves to bears. I get that these guys are slaves and this is a horrible situation and everything, but what the f*** are these guys building? It seems like everyone was directed to either carry a rock or put down sandbags or use an axe to simply perform the act of working. I might be more sympathetic to their plight if I realized they were building Victor's master bathroom or something. I know I've called out the cuts a lot already, but goddamn, this is a dude whipping another dude. It's like they didn't have a budget for stage fighting in this movie.
They are the grass on which we graze.
If we cannot protect our humans, it makes us look weak.
This woman walked all the way from here to finally say her line, and that's the only line she gets, and I guess she's someone's cousin looking for a SAG card or something.
And how would you project strength?
Unfortunately, Bill Nye suffered an affliction playing Davy Jones after 2 Pirates of the Caribbean movies, and occasionally still reads his lines in other movies that way. Movie delights in making us think this is some sort of scary moment for Lucian, but it's actually just Rona Mitra here to sex him. This must be some epic f***ing to keep fading to and from black so many times during it, mixing your fear of sex with heights. Also acrophobicing. Also, in this situation, who's giving the dog a bone? Also, this is the rare Jesus Christ pose sex technique that's impregnating all the ladies these days.
Leave.
Sonya's gonna make it seem like it's a big deal for her to leave this place, when she clearly hates her dad and the council and never follows the rules. These dumbasses, after being careful to f*** on private cliffs, decide to risk being seen together at any time. And this guy from Lock, Stock, and 2 Smoking Barrels just happens to be here of all places to see it. This guy shoots an arrow into the air, telling the castle they need extra people to escort the nobles who have just arrived. But why did they send only 2 guards in the first place? And why would they stop them in the middle of werewolf country?
Lady Sonya, your father has ordered you to stay behind.
But of course, you never listen to your father, so I don't know why he even bothers with these orders. Are these werewolves buried in the ground? What are they, cicadas? This movie has the return of all your favorite characters, except the one that will sell tickets at the box office. These werewolves turn into gophers for this movie. It's actually insane they built these tunnels just to be able to attack from the ground below. Scream diplomacy.
Burn the bodies! Burn them all!
And just do it in the middle of the woods. There's no way setting that many fires near trees could be dangerous.
I told you I'd be there when you fell.
It was an easy prediction to make, since I'm the designated torture guy. 1 full minute of torture that would make the Passion of the Christ feel sorry for it. Also, there is no way they aren't telling the Christ story through Lucian here, from his unusual birth to the weird cross-like way he had sex on a cliff a minute ago, and now this. And while that may seem deep and everything, remember, almost 75% of movies find a way to compare their protagonist to Christ.
By my count, that's 21.
Victor would later have a child that starred on Sesame Street.
Continue.
Why does Victor even need to tell the sadistic bastard who's whipping him right now to continue? Isn't that what that asshole lives for? Or is this just a counting problem?
I will not bite.
Don't say it.
Much.
God damn it.
No, Tennessee knows about us. How? I have no idea.
I mean, we were so careful walking together out in the open. What could have gone wrong?
You have all but bled me dry already.
Hardy har.
Is this what you want?
Are there really no guards down here who can hear this?
Coleman thinks he will stir the others.
He said that during Lucian's whipping, and you've never taken that guy seriously. But now, when it's too late, that's when you decide he's not so full of shit after all. And you decide to kill Lucian now?
2 minutes.
Let me get this straight. This guy has dirt on Lucian and Sonya, but he couldn't use it at all because he felt Victor would not be grateful. So without blackmail, Sonya gives Tanis her council seat in exchange for him helping Lucian escape. Honestly, Tanis knowing about Lucian and Sonya's affairs is pretty worthless overall. The only plot significance it brings is that they know they can approach him with a deal, and that's it. Quite honestly, I don't know why Sonya herself can't orchestrate the escape without Tanis, but whatever, right?
Some of the others will come with me, Sabas and Crystal, the human race.
Who could forget those guys? Such characters. They've left such an indelible mark on this movie, and who are they again?
There is a new life waiting beyond these walls, my friend.
I mean, we've known each other for 6 hours, but you seem okay. Luckily for Lucian's plan, this guy did not check the cells from above, and he's able to easily hide and tear this guy apart when he stupidly walks in. Lucian keeps the prisoners quiet for these 2 guards, but how in the did they not hear all that commotion a minute ago? What do you want to bet some clumsy asshole is gonna... God damn it. Movie was way uninterested in giving us the suspense version of this action scene, preferring to go with the surprise method of attack and giving us this bullshit where we have no idea where anyone is or what's happening or why this movie hates us so much. Bloody hell. Do you see how frustrating watching this movie is? 15 cuts for one simple action. There were 2 editors on this movie, and I'm beginning to think that they were paid by the cut. To tell you the truth, I had no idea what these guys were doing here, but then I realized they're vampires and they're burning in the so-called sun that's out right now. But this movie has done so little to show the vampire culture of the castle, it really took me a minute to figure out what's happening. Apparently nobody had any question as to whether they would survive this jump. I mean, they became Lycans like yesterday, right? Don't you think they might have some reservations? Victor, upon hearing about Lucian's escape, went to this middle-of-nowhere door in the side of the rock, which was built for this movie, so that Victor could see Lucian escape.
Where is the key I gave you for this?
He must have made another one.
Or, stay with me now, Tanis unlocked Lucian's collar, and then simply came back here with the key to back up his story later. Or got somebody else to bring the key back. And even though we know that's not what happened, this is the flimsiest alibi ever. Well, someone saw Alien 3, or The Lost World.
But you leave me no choice.
Here comes the blurry-ass music video of memories, somehow conveniently remembered in the 3rd person.
She has deceived you. She could lead them here.
This guy thinks that after all the trouble Sonya went through to help these guys escape, she'd turn around and deceive them so that they could be caught again.
Sonya has been arrested.
Good thing there was this handmaiden that we saw one time before in this movie, and I don't think had any speaking lines, but was well trusted enough to know exactly where Lucian would be at this moment so she could give him the news. They focus on this like it's something so crazy for a vampire to be doing. Drinking blood? That's insane! Idle guarding. Now, all Lucian was told was that Sonya was arrested. He didn't know she was still in her room or anything, but he went straight here anyway. By the way, this movie continues the grand tradition of vampires, werewolves, weapons. Only this time, it's in medieval times, where weapons are even more boring than the ones they use in modern Underworld movies. I see it started raining because Mother Nature knows what a dramatic fight we're about to have on our hands. Underworld 3 steals the stupid method of trying to blow up the protagonist from the rock.
That one.
How about all of them? Go ahead and try and keep up with this shit. Go ahead. I dare you. I double dare you, motherfucker. Keep up with this shit one time. In fact, let me just add 10 sins for the action scene nonsense going on in this movie. These guys take turn punching Lucian with their fists, but apparently have no need to punch him with swords or knives or something that might end his life. Whatever. What a dumbass. That guy was a dick anyway, whoever he was.
Call up your men! For the sake of your grandchild!
It was probably the cliffhanger sect that did it. Sperm travel with heightened awareness when being shot through a threatened penis. Also, Sonya thinks her dad will in any way give leniency because she's carrying a half-Lycan, half-vampire in her tummy. Sure, this castle has a twisting path full of different little dungeon cells, but let's put Lucian and Sonya right next door to each other. More than 20 more seconds of more whipping even more. The sunroof opens and I'm wondering, didn't this execution happen in front of everybody when they were flashing back in the first movie? This movie apparently divorced the first movie because of creative differences. So, when the sun burns these bodies, why does it keep a fully intact burned body there? She was completely disintegrating earlier. At the very least, the Judgment Day style ignition should have freed her from her restraints, right?
Fetch my knives.
Victor should have killed Lucian about 61 times in this movie, but now he's asking some asshole to fetch his knives, which I'm assuming means more torture. This movie is making it seem like the werewolves need a full moon to change, but haven't we seen them do it without that before? Actually, yes, in the first Underworld, there was one line about how the full moon no longer held sway, and werewolves could change at will. And that suggests during these early days they couldn't do that. But you expect me to remember that? Well, I guess I did. But after 2 movies of changing at will, couldn't you at least give me a reminder? I'm guessing this is supposed to be poetic, Lucian looking down from the wall, where he used to kill werewolves if they got too close, but now he's looking for them to save him. But I'm kind of amazed there wasn't some dissent in the werewolf community over this guy, who killed so many of their race, even if he was ordered to do so. Yeah, if there was one thing that always bothered me about the Underworld series, is that it wasn't Lord of the Rings enough. Why aren't all these guys changing into werewolves right now? Is the only reason Reyes is not turning into a full-on werewolf because Underworld fans need to be able to recognize him, or is it because the effects budget was strapped? Also, effects budget. Man, there was a clown car full of prisoners in this cell, wasn't there? Meanwhile, I'm pretty sure there are at least 2 empty cells they could have divvied up to prevent overcrowding. I guess running up these stairs finally made Reyes want to change into a werewolf. Movie decides to casually show us vampires walking off a ledge and falling, like that's normal behavior. And of course we don't get to see this all in one shot, where we could take in the scope of such a maneuver and it would explain why they jumped into battle this way. Good to see Lucian clothed again. He found some other dead werewolf with his exact tight-fitting leather pants, I see. Also, can he not turn into a werewolf again after doing it once? Seems like a waste of such great-fitting pants if he can. Victor somehow pulled this grate from the floor and escaped without anyone seeing him in the middle of this battle. Climactic battle between 2 characters we know don't die is pretty much exactly why these movies are terrible. Lucian's pulling on these chains and letting sunlight come through, but wasn't it f***ing dark a minute ago? Hell, I guess all the vampires that the werewolves are fighting outside are probably dead now, right?
I should have crushed you under my heel the day you were born.
This is such an empty ruing. We only saw one moment where Lucian felt affection for his vampire dad, and that was a brief moment during the narration part of the movie, so this rue is weak sauce. This should kill Victor, but I've seen Underworld. Also, why not just stick him in the middle of the daylight and let him burn to death? Jeez, man, don't you know vampires by now? Yay, we won! The sun came out during the battle! I mean, I guess that's what happened. The movie never showed us, because once the 2 main characters start fighting, movies don't give a shit about the bigger battle happening away from them.
It is finished. No. This is just the beginning.
Unfortunately. Also, I'm a little confused on this timeline. In Underworld Evolution, we see Victor, Marcus, and Amelia capture William, the first werewolf. This is obviously before Victor and the others started taking turns leading the coven while the others hibernate. But in Rise of the Lycans, the other 2 are hibernating, suggesting this is after they've captured William and put him in prison. But the problem is Victor commissioned Celine's father to build William's prison, and it's pretty clear Celine and her family don't exist yet. Now, maybe this happens later, but this movie is making it clear Lucian is the main werewolf, so I don't know why the vampires care so much about William after this. I'm just saying, the timelines of these movies seem kind of f***ed. This is the boat Tanis took out a minute ago, but where is Captain? They're sailing this thing during the day, so someone has to be steering the boat, right?
He's the one who killed your family, not the Lycans.
Underworld reprise. Also, none of this bullshit is revelatory. We know Victor killed Celine's family because that was a huge plot point of the first 2 movies. And we know he didn't kill her because she reminded him of Sonia. So why are we making it seem like a huge reveal now? Did the movie need some padding?
Kinky. But I like my sex the way I play basketball. One-on-one and with as little dribbling as possible.
He created a new race of immortals.
Keep your eyes on the ground.
Look down! Look down! Don't look him in the eye! You will spend an eternity on this ship!
We are not animals.
I am not an animal! I am a human being!
There is a new life waiting beyond these walls, my friend. And you can be a part of it. One of us.
Google gobble, Google gobble. One of us, one of us.
I will come back! I promise you! Stay alive, no matter what occurs! I will find you!
I have something he wants.
They have something I want.
No, Sonia, don't. Just look at me. Keep your eyes on me. Sonia, look at me!
Don't look at me! Keep your eyes shut!